Okay. No. What's that? At least one we need to create a short. No, we're not going to create a short. What other features can we use? No green screen. No. I don't like green screens. I don't know about that one. Okay. I come on in here and I chat and see if people come. I didn't really do the invites right, but it's blasted hot right now. So, yeah, we'll see. But I come on early, so sometimes people show. Sometimes people don't show. So I didn't exactly get the invites right. Because I'm learning my stuff on this. So yeah. So I talk with the best of them. I love doing lives. I've done lives on 4 platforms. I will do a live on a 5th platform on LinkedIn at some point. But that, is much more strategic. And yeah, I wanted to chat today about treatments and withdrawal. We will see if anybody shows. I wait till, 8 minutes after the time. I didn't get the invites right this time, so who knows whether anybody will show or not. I've got top. So I'm ticked our flies before. What the hey? As an attorney in withdrawal, what do? You do a social media slam. And yeah, I absolutely love doing lives. So hopefully people will show. If not, I'll chat to myself for a little bit. But I don't officially start until 5 o'clock. So we shall see. YouTube is definitely not my primary platform. But, so yeah. So I wanted to talk about, it's been an interesting day. Really pissed at my security system. But, yeah, I walked a lot. And I spilled a little bit of liquid Valium. But, I have prescribers who are there for me. So yeah. So today, okay. Hi there. Wait. Yeah. Hi. No, ask me whatever. So I wanted to chat today a little bit about, all of the treatments that I've done in withdrawal, because I have done tons and tons of treatments. I've tried everything under the planet. The first thing I did was when I went after a month of being in antipsychotic withdrawal, I tried benzodiazepines. That was not a good idea. It was not a good thing because now I'm in benzo withdrawal and I will suffer for years and years in benzo withdrawal. My prognosis is grim. I will not be able to concentrate to work as an attorney for years. So what do you do as an attorney in withdrawal? You do a social media slam. So, ask me whatever you'd like. I am completely public within boundaries. It's the this Aussie. I'm not sure what that means. It's the Aussie account. Is this Aussie account? Aussie accent? Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not Australian. I'm from Metuchen, New Jersey. So I wanted to. Right? No, I'm not Australian. Never been to Australia. My child wants to go to Australia. So, I started off with benzos. That was definitely not the answer. Happy New Year. I, then started therapy. I had 3 therapists at one point, but they were mainstream therapists. And then I got in, with a prescriber, who's somebody who gets you off psych meds, because I went off. And my prescriber, knows that my biggest fear is being in a psych ward. So, she was able, she saved my life when I was in Costa Rica, when I was lying there for days, not thinking I'd get out alive. And, I'm now in with a prescriber who has been there for me, every day of the year since, April or May. What drugs am I on right now? I am currently on 5.06 milligrams liquid Valium. I am on 12 milligrams baclofen, which is a muscle relaxant we use to get me off benzos. I'm on 150 milligrams of lithium, which is a non-therapeutic dose. I'm on, a Zyrtec for MCAS, doesn't really matter. And I'm on Synthroid, on 0.75 milligrams of Synthroid, which because lithium causes thyroid issues. But that's it. I really don't take much. Do you have a blinking tic and speech impediment? So no. So I have TMJ issues. I have a slight speech impediment. I didn't even notice it till I went on socials. I clenched my teeth during a contentious divorce. So yeah, I'll probably do Invisalign at some point, but it has nothing to do with medications. There's a lot of misinterpretations of that. People say it's because of tardive dyskinesia, which I had for disabling tardive for 20 years, but it has nothing to do with that. So I'm sorry. My seltzer here because I'm in an MCAS, so I can't eat very much. So, I have tried everything. I tried NAD, which is actually very helpful to me. I'm 48. I've used IV drips. I've used foot patches. And then I'm going to use nasal sprays. It hasn't been studied much, so there's no studies that prove that it is effective. But there's a lot of things that aren't proven to be effective by studies that are still useful. So I'm going to use NAD. No, it doesn't cause too much pain. I'm not in pain at all. I had a good Christmas. I celebrated the day after with my child. We had a pink Christmas tree. I'm half Jewish, half Christian, but really I'm agnostic. We have. I have a deep prescriber who believes in tarot cards. Not sure about that one. They're very optimistic. Crystals, they're placebo. I've done a lot of inner child to forgive myself for the things that happened in the past, to forgive myself for the serious suicide attempt I had at 16. I do a lot of IVs, fluids and magnesium. I do Myers cocktail IVs, doing tons of exercise. I have an in-home sauna. I have done a lot of acupuncture, massage. Sound healing. Sound healing is great to put you to sleep. But drugs are not the answer to put me to sleep because that's what made me an insomniac. And I have been an insomniac. I slept 5 hours last night. Congrats to me. But I was at 0 to 1 to 2 for a long time. And insomnia is an incredibly common symptom in withdrawal. Ask me whatever you'd like because I can talk like the bejesus. Because I have a mission in life to spread awareness of the detrimental effects of psychiatric medications. I am now placing, I today turned off alerts so that I won't be disturbed all the time by, incoming messages so that I can concentrate on myself. I do a lot of breath work, or I try to do a lot of breath work. I meditate. I try to meditate, but because of my severe concentration issues, it's difficult. I try to be mindful, staying in the present, not catastrophizing about the future. My biggest issue is being down on myself, is being very hard on myself and not choosing myself first. There's a lot of things. I have my PEMP mat, which lowers my blood pressure and makes my headache go away in benzo withdrawal. But I'm going to be monitoring the blood pressure when we start cutting. Early next week, we're going to start cutting benzos. But it's a long road ahead. Hopefully I'll be off benzos by the end of next year. It's not painful. I have not been in much pain, luckily. I was in the ER 4 times in Arizona. I'm currently at a wellness center, an outpatient wellness center in Arlington, where things are going really well. And actually, I'm the only person there, so, it's great. My deprescriber is going to come down and do hands-on things that no other person will do. Do I like spicy things? Wait, that's not a Q&A sticker. No, I don't like spicy things. I can't have them in MCAS withdraw, in the MCAS. No, that's not something I do. But if you've been following me, you know that I have a life story like none other on the planet. A physical disability for 20 years. And for me, it's medical malpractice. But I'm not suing because it would mean degradation of my character and the rest of my life in suit. So I'm lucky as anything in this game. And I will, be okay in the end. But that's because, I still have funds left. And, I'm using my share of my inheritance that was set aside for me before this all went down, because my only other option would be detox, which would be my worst nightmare. But let's see. We are, some stuff we do, there's a lot of talking going on. There's, what benzo were you given originally? I was originally put on Ativan. I asked if it was, had addictive properties, and I was told no. I became physically dependent very quickly. You become physically dependent within 2 to 4 weeks. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing as an attorney at the SSI project at Legal Services. I was put up to 5 milligrams Ativan, which is frankly abusive, although my records show 3.5 because I had pills from beforehand. I have records from a sleep specialist saying 4.5 milligrams, but I went up to 5 thereafter. I have cross-tapered briefly to Klonopin, and then I cross-tapered to pills of diazepam or liquid Valium, and then to Valium, and then to liquid Valium, which is how you get off. The best way to get off benzos is by using liquid Valium because it is easier to decrease the dosages in. So I have droppers. But frankly, today, I tipped a little bit. And I've always been fearful of what happens if you tip a little bit of your bottle. I think I only tipped a tiny bit. And I have deprescribers who would cross-taper me in an instant because they know I'm not an addict. But for everybody else, it scares me tremendously of what happens if you tip your bottle of liquid Valium. You are either labeled as an addict because you have to buy benzos on the street, or you go to seizures. And I know that I will not get there because I have deprescribers who believe me that I am not an addict. And I don't think I tipped enough of it that, since we are going to be cutting, I think it's going to be okay. And I know I'm going to be okay, so I wasn't panicking too much today. But it is wild for anybody else. I am trying now to limit my screen time. That has been incredibly tough for me. Screens were life-saving for me originally when I was in Costa Rica. We're also now trying to track and limit my time on socials because I am, on socials a lot. Because I'm down to posting 2 reels a day from 3 reels, and I get them done in the morning. I do comments in the evening. But I post public on Threads doesn't really matter, but 5 sites. Because I cross-post. Let's see. I am, walking further again. I am driving safely again. And I'm learning to set boundaries. Boundaries to protect myself. And, protect, to make sure that I choose myself first, because I have consistently not chosen myself first. And that is one of the things that has been, bad for me. And, there's a little issue on TikTok right now. And, TikTok is crazy. It's not like Meta or YouTube. There was somebody who was naming the name of my ex. So I know I have home security. I've deleted myself from the internet, and I know that if anything happens, I call the police. Because when you go on socials, you become, you're out there, and you get threatened. And I knew that would happen, but it does scare me. It scares me vastly. I don't think that this was anything legit, but I deleted it. And TikTok, if there continue to be problems on TikTok, I will delete my account on TikTok, because TikTok is I can't even, I'm 48 and I can't even enter the year of my graduation on TikTok. Do you plan to look into safer long-term options for whatever reason? So you were put on benzos, prescribed, so I was put on benzos for insomnia. And in fact, they've caused me to be an insomniac. So they weren't for anxiety for me. So I'm trying to, get over insomnia. So drugs are definitely not the answer, because drugs cause me to be an insomniac. I am trying to be off screens 2 hours before bedtime, to do yoga nidra and take a bath before I and do another hour of meditation before I eat my breakfast in silence with without talking. But no, I do not. Right, I was on Boost Bar. None of those worked for me. I am going for no psych meds. I do not believe in psychiatric medications. I believe mental health is very important, but I do not believe that psychiatric medications are the answer to anything. They have not worked for me at all, and I want off everything. Especially since I wasn't putting on them for anxiety. I was put on antipsychotics and wrongly diagnosed for autistic meltdown. I'm high-functioning autistic, doesn't really matter. But my IQ went down from a 153 to a 127, literally tested on antipsychotics. So, my story is sad but inspirational, and I have a purpose in life, to spread awareness of the detrimental effects of psych meds. I believe in, music, humming. I have my piano, I sing. I used to play the bassoon. I do art. I have clay. My child was here for Christmas. Cooking, exercise, yoga. For 48, I'm in pretty good shape. I lift. I believe in minimal medications. So in my MCAS flare, my best of the best prescriber got on FaceTime with me. And I look at going in like this, and she figured out how to make me not have it go in. And I do not know if there's any other doctor on the planet who would find the timing correctly to get on FaceTime with you to figure out how to not make you take a Benadryl that would knock you out for hours straight, for 5 hours straight. I believe in root causes to to mental illness. I definitely believe that, and most doctors believe that the DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, is a piece of crap, made up piece of crap. If you don't believe that, there are very few doctors who believe that, people who believe that that is not fairly made up. My doctor does not believe in mental illness, does not believe in mental illness at all. She only believes in root causes and not a lot of the things I'm learning are like metals. Like I show mold exposure, and apparently that causes a lot of psychiatric issues. I have metal fillings in my teeth, and I'm going to have them removed because there's metal toxicity. I'm learning things like the benefits of good clean water, healthy food. I'm in ketosis, which is a high fat, high carbohydrate diet. I never knew the diet was so important because, frankly, last May I was at I'll say TV dinners, but for frozen dinners. I was at calories because I lost a ton of weight because I forgot to eat. And now I'm starting to regain it. And it scares me because, I have a mild history of anorexia in college. I don't do stickers. I don't know what those stickers are anyway. But no, I have overreacted and thought that the last part of my taper would be worse. We had thought that I would end originally we thought maybe I'd end at the end of September. And now we're hoping to end by the end of this year of 2026. But we're going very, very slowly and listening to my body. So I will be cutting benzos as much as possible for the rest of for this month, through the beginning of February. And then I will take a break. I'll hold steady. I'll likely go away again. I'll be there for my child's recital. I will be there for her birthday. And I will get to go to Ecuador. I will likely go to Costa Rica for a women's retreat. Because, I need to learn to relax. Because I am very uptight today because there was an issue with my security system where I was scared to death because they told me that there was a violation. My door had been violated and I've been threatened on socials. So I didn't know if somebody was legit trying to get into my house. I've been threatened. And when you go on socials that you are going to receive threats, and mostly it comes from TikTok. I have not had anything, any personally intrusive comments anywhere but TikTok. TikTok, I can't even put my age, I graduated from Stanford in 1999. And I can't even put my graduation date in TikTok. TikTok is the wild, wild west. I'm working. I'm going to set up a charity because I am lucky as anything to have the resources for the best of the best care. As an attorney in withdrawal, you go for the platinum on social media. I started posting public, in August. I seriously started posting in October, I think. I was a good attorney. I will likely never practice again. Withdraw, many people change what they do. And I have been in withdrawal for over 3 years, and I have years to go before I could practice as an attorney. But I'm lucky enough to have the resources to stay out of detox, but I'm in much worse shape than most people who are in benzo withdrawal because I was in an antipsychotic withdrawal before I got to benzo withdrawal. I'm spending a ton of money because I don't want to go to detox. And, detox rips you off cold turkey and puts you to, people suffer for years and years because, cold turkey is when they take you off of psych meds abruptly. And detox centers are horrific. The outcomes are horrific. And I am in too bad shape to do a slow taper at home. So I have to have an aide in my Airbnb when I am cutting benzos to keep me medically safe because otherwise I'm a medical liability. And we're going to be monitoring my blood pressure, all the time. Originally I was scared to death of what was going to happen, but I've been reassured that it's not going to be very bad, that, I'm going to be able to, be independent and, we're going to take it very slowly. And, I will be able to go to my day program every day. I just need somebody here, overnight to make certain that I am safe, that I am not a medical liability. Because, sometimes I have trouble, and I have a bathroom on the first floor, and I have my mattress on the floor so that I can stay safe, because sometimes, when I'm close to my dose of Valium, I am, literally, crawling. So I'm not allowed to go up and down the stairs to do laundry because I've fallen too many times in the last few stairs. And yeah, I want to be independent very much. But, if I'm going to fall, that's a different matter. Because I've been dependent for very many years when I had tardive dyskinesia. But, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing the cooking. But the laundry, that's not possible because I'm in jeopardy of falling. So that's not something that I'm going to do, or that I'm being permitted to do by my aide, who's like, no way. I'm like, well, then you shouldn't be doing it. But she's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm like, okay, well, now you are my liability. If you break your back, we're in this together. And, you can't use mainstream people because they don't know anything about withdrawal. It's a very different thing. If I had a mainstream aide, when I spasmed wildly, they would have been calling the ER on me all the time. They would not know if I was having a seizure, because I'm in much better shape than my first big TikTok in August of me spasming wildly in withdrawal. So I am, I'm told that this is not going to be nearly as bad as I had catastrophized at one point. But I don't know how bad it's going to be, and it's going to take a long time. In some ways, I just would like to get it over with. At one point, I thought, there was, fast taper and you put you into a coma and get it over with in 2 weeks. But that would be highly detrimental to my health, so I wouldn't do that to myself. And, I'm placing firm boundaries on, who I have in my life. We're doing volunteer work. I'm going to, find Spanish conversation. Because I need to keep myself occupied and not on screens and doing things that are productive when I go home in February. Because gosh golly, I want to be with my child because I miss her like the bejesus. And the one thing I have never doubted is that I'm a good mother. I'm a blasted good mother. I'm not sure if I would have gotten out of Costa Rica alive last summer if I didn't know that I was good mother. And yeah, maybe I'm codependent, but I've always been a good mother. I'm very defensive on that one. I was class mom at my child's school for 2 years, and it hurts me bloody bad to be away from her. And I am lucky as anything to have an ex who is doing magnificently well at getting her to school on time. And, I am cutting him a break on child support, and I do not say anything bad because I truly am lucky to have an ex who is supporting me. And I have parents who are supporting me and, are there for my child to keep her in dance because that is extraordinary. My child is, I tend not to put myself first and to put my child before me, which is probably my worst defense. But yeah, I have a life story like none other on the planet, and a duty and intention to share it. And things are going really well. I've had an open WhatsApp stream with my deprescriber since April or May. Daily contact. Whenever I need support. Whenever I'm constipated, what should I take? If, do I take a propranolol? Do I take a Benadryl? Because I'm going as minimal as possible on medications. I am going holistic, completely holistic. I don't want to do anything to my body that I don't absolutely have to do. So, I'm doing really well. We're doing fabulously, actually, right now. This is the weekend before I start to cut, so I'm here alone. And, it's kind of funny to be alone. You have the same speech impediment after your recovery from tardive dyskinesia. My speech impediment has nothing to do with tardive dyskinesia. It did not start until well after, and I did not have a speech impediment. I argued before the New Jersey Supreme Court without a speech impediment. This is TMJ and gritting my teeth during contentious divorce and Invisalign. Wow, so you also recovered from tardive dyskinesia. Did you recover without adjuncts? Because, we've only found one other person on TikTok so far It's not something that generally happens. I want a medical case study to find out about it, but I'd love to hear more, because we have, there are very few people who recover from disabling tardive dyskinesia. And, I was physically disabled for 20 years with a leg brace, permanent blue hang tag. And, this was my miracle recovery. But then I went into withdrawal. And I had no idea as an attorney about the horrors of withdrawal. But yeah, no, if you want to message me or something, I'd love to hear more, because, we've only found one other person on TikTok who survived without adjuncts. So you were disabled from TD for 2 decades? Yeah, I was. I was physically disabled. I wore a leg brace. I couldn't climb stairs. I couldn't really write by hand. Yeah, that's terrific. That's amazing that you recovered. Feel free to message me. I'd love to hear more. So for 2 decades, I couldn't walk on the beach. I originally had a tongue thrust like that, but it resolved. I couldn't play on the playground with my child. My IQ went down from 153 to 127. My personality changed. Tardive dyskinesia is horrific. And, the vast majority of people do not recover. The Joey Marino story. Most people who get off antipsychotics, I was told there was no chance in anything at all that I would physically recover. So you are only on benzos for 13 years, so shorter than you. But yeah, I recovered from TD symptoms, except that you have a speech impediment that they told me was from TD. I haven't been on benzos. I've been on benzos only for 3 years, just over 3 years. I wasn't on benzos until I was recovered from tardive dyskinesia. Did it stop because you stopped antipsychotics? But most makes people who don't ever fully get back 100%? Yeah. So tardive dyskinesia stopped for me because I stopped taking antipsychotics. And it resolved during my bad paper. We went way too quick. My mainstream psychiatrist went way too quickly took me off of clozapine, the antipsychotic that I was on. So I got it back 100%. I'm neurologically baseline. I have records showing neurologically baseline. It is extraordinarily rare to resolve completely from tardive dyskinesia. You're the second person that I found, other than me, who's recovered completely, and I'm sure that there are a few. For your information, too, someone is posting your husband's name. Yeah, I know that. Info, all the Google info all over Instagram. No. So on Instagram, I've only seen it on TikTok. There's only one person on TikTok that I've seen. If you've seen it on other platforms, I have not seen anything on other platforms. There is one person on TikTok who, has remixed me a bunch of times. If you have seen it on other platforms, I don't think on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's, my professional platform, so it's very different. You reported it? Thank you. Yeah, please feel free to message me privately, because I feel very threatened by what was on TikTok, and I didn't know that she was on anything except TikTok. LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a very different platform than anything else. But, please message me privately, because I have felt very threatened by it. If you use your first and last name on social media, it's easy. Right. So I use my first and last name because it's who I am, and I want to be public. And I know that things will go down. But there's really only been one individual on TikTok that I know of who has invaded my privacy. And it has not been, there's been one comment ever. And that has been deleted, and, I have a plan in place. So I don't think that she's a real threat. If you know of her on other platforms, I'd love to hear about it. but, we've looked into it, and it does not seem to be, I'm placing firmer boundaries on what I say on TikTok. And if there are continuing issues on TikTok, then I will. Sorry, how did they invade, and what somebody used the name of actually they didn't even get the name of my ex right, and they said I didn't have a child. They used the name of my marriage, and I don't mention the name of my ex, because that wouldn't be appropriate. And I deleted and I tried to report the person. But I have a plan in place. I have the best home security possible. I deleted myself from the internet, my personal information, and I will call the police if there's anything else. But yeah, please message me privately, because if you reported it, I would really like to know more about this, because I didn't know that this particular person, what is it, Batty777, was on any other platform but TikTok, and she has very, very few followers, but she's done tons of awful remixes I can do nothing about, and the remixes I can stand. And there's really only one comment that was invasive, but no, I use my name because it's very important for me to go by my name. If you need a moderator, let me know. I used to work for Facebook. I haven't ever used a moderator. Exactly, Batty777. That's exactly it. I didn't know she was on other platforms. She is awful. This account has the name and professional place of your work of your ex. My YouTube account does not. Like a different person than the first? No, that's the only person I know of, is the Batty person. None of my accounts have my ex's name on them. And he doesn't even have the same last name as I am. And the person who's Batty did not use the correct name of my ex. So no, she didn't even have her information correct. So I don't feel like she's a legit threat. This person has a different username. Okay. I would greatly appreciate it if you would message me privately on any platform of your choosing, because I really would like to know if there's somebody else who's threatening me. Because the only one I know is the Batty777. And, I'm surprised that people on YouTube know about the person on TikTok. I mean, didn't know that she went on other platforms. But yeah, please let me know, because, if there are threats against me, I really would like to know about them. And, when you go on socials, it's going to happen. There's another person. So there's another person on different platforms. Can you please message me? So they really threatened. No, all they did was they said the year of my marriage, and they used the name of my ex. They didn't even use his correct name. And said that I didn't have a child. So it wasn't a real threat. It just, was exposing personal information. And I panicked somewhat. And, I have a plan in place. The account I'm talking about, there's another person. I have no idea who it is. Someone created an account on Instagram of your husband. Someone created an account on Instagram of my ex. Yeah, please message me privately. I would greatly appreciate that, because I had no idea of that, and that is just really disturbing. I don't think Batty777 goes off of TikTok. I think she's only on TikTok. Because, my ex doesn't go on socials at all. He's a really good person, and he's taken blasted good care of my child, and I'm lucky as anything. The person writes very differently. Please message me privately. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up so that I can, rest and take care of myself. I really appreciate it. And message me privately. I think you can do it through YouTube. I don't even know how to message on YouTube. But if you're on other platforms, on Instagram, I definitely receive messages on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I would really appreciate knowing that. The person has a photo of your ex from his Facebook account and a bunch of personal info. Wow. Okay, you are really scaring me. Yeah, please let me know. Message me on Instagram. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. So wrap this up, but please message me. I appreciate your help. Bye. Okay, let's see. How do I turn this off?